I guess first of all, congratulations on your recurring role on, or your guest star role on the Lincoln Lawyer. It's a fantastic series on Netflix. It's already been established. So how does it feel for you to come into an already established show and create your character?
Um, it was really wonderful. It's a very, very generous crew, very wonderful cast. There's something really lovely about walking into a place where everybody already knows what they're doing, and it was just a really laid back and wonderful atmosphere, honestly. Yeah, I had a great time. Mm.
Awesome. How cooperative or how are you able to contribute to this character and make it your own?
Um, I mean, it's a really fun role. It's a really fun role, and things that are, it there's a lot of room for play with her, and so yeah, I mean, y- yeah, it was. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's. I just come in with whatever kind of ideas that I have that would be fun to explore, and then the director and I talk about what works, what doesn't, and yeah. But I mean, she felt pretty. She felt pretty. She wasn't too far of a stretch for from who I am, which is always also a gift because you don't have to worry too much about if you're doing it right. You know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've had some incredible roles. I remember seeing you on Supergirl for an episode, and then I saw you on Good Trouble. I had already been a fan of Good
Mhm.
Trouble, but
Yeah.
you did a fantastic job on that
Thank
part.
you.
How was it getting into that character and being with her for such a long time?
Yeah. Um, so I mean that show was such an incredible experience. It was such a wonderful learning experience. We were I think I was in almost 50 episodes, and so you really just learn how sets are run, and with her it was really fun because being able to portray a character for 5 seasons, you grow with the character as the writers get to know you. You see more of yourself, and and it's just really wonderful seeing how it all meshes together. And yeah, but it was, it's also it was, Rachel is a really wonderful role because it is something that so many people have to deal with as they enter the workspace is how do I make space for myself? How do I have my voice be heard? And how do I make sure I'm not being taken advantage of? And yeah, so it was really wonderful. Also, her clothing is really great. So that was always a bonus. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I know a lot of women in tech that go through a lot of the
Hmm.
struggles with that these women do in this show. What kind of research did you do, or did you get to talk to anybody to like capsule all that goes on with them?
Yeah, I mean, it was something. I have friends who are in tech, and I'm from the Bay Area, so we, lots of tech startup. That's like one of the main industries there, and yeah, so I talked to them about it, and luckily the writers on Good Trouble really do their research. They aren't messing around with the subjects that they touch upon, and so they had talked to a lot of people and done a lot of groundwork on that too. But yeah, it's just being a woman in a predominantly male field that is really a boys club. There's so many, and that's across. There are multiple fields of work that are still very much a boys club, and tech is just one that's really prevalent for our generation. You know, and yeah, yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's one of those things where how do you enter a workplace knowing that you come in with a lesser value from jump, and how do you close that gap? And I mean, it's yeah. So yeah, I talked to a lot of friends about it, and they're able to give me some really good insights. Yeah,
That was such a fascinating show. It had such a great cast. How fun was it to shoot on that set?
so fun, So fun. Yeah. Yeah, it was so wonderful. Everybody, it's that thing where, so since it was a spinoff from The Fosters, a lot of the crew had worked on that show before moving to Good Trouble. So you're coming into a group of people who have worked together for the better part of a decade, if not more. And so that's so lovely. Everybody knows each other, and it was a very well-oiled machine in that there isn't really drama. Everybody knows how they work with each other, and the directors that we would have were always so wonderful. And the show itself is so fun and bright and active that that energy really transfers to set. Even if you're working a 14-hour day, you're behind. Everyone's still having a good time because the stuff that we're creating is good and important and also fun.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I had a great time. Yeah.
Awesome. And you talked a little bit about, her fashion style in Good Trouble.
Mhm.
And I read that you quilt and you knit and you make a lot of your own clothing. Uh,
Yeah.
how do you find the time for that? And did any of that clothing get put on the shows?
Oh, okay. So yeah, no, none of the clothing that I've made got put on the show, but it is it's really fun coming in knowing about fibers and textures and that kind of construction. Especially because my character wore as the show progressed, we kind of went from wearing little more schlubby clothes so we could try and fit in with the boys to wearing what our characters really wanted to wear and that like self-expression through clothing. And my and Rachel wore almost exclusively vintage clothing, and the quality of clothes that are it's just the quality is superior to what fast fashion is these days. And so that was really wonderful. But yeah, I knit and I quilt and I make clothing. It's really wonderful. It's very it's like it's constructive, it's productive, and it's also very meditative because you're kind of repeating the same thing. At least with knitting, you're repeating the same stitch pattern over and over, and you get to slowly watch this thing that you create grow, and then you get to wear it afterwards. It's really really wonderful. It takes a long time. It takes a long time.
Definitely.
So yeah.
It seems like you're very conscious about the world around you. You do quilting. You also help out with stray neighborhood cats. What exactly do you do to help with that?
Sorry, I lost you. Can you repeat your question?
Yeah. What exactly do you do to help with the stray neighborhood cats, the rescue, and the
Yeah, so I'm in Los Angeles, and we have a really LA has a really really bad feral and stray cat problem. It's just people think that they want kittens and they become too much work and they just let them loose on the street and without getting them and which is horrible in and of itself. And then those cats tend to not be spayed or neutered, and one female cat can create like hundreds of offspring basically. And so what I do is I work with a rescue called Lux Paws that services like most of Los Angeles, and I set out food for the neighborhood, like the strays that or the feral cats that are in the neighborhood, and then we trap them. We get them spayed or neutered, and if they're friendly, we find fosters for them. So,
that
and
is
then
awesome.
with the hope that they get adopted out. It is tough, but it is really rewarding. We have uh I pulled 3 kittens out of my car engine about a year ago.
Oh,
uh yeah, I never, I'd heard about it, but I never that was always kind of like an urban legend, like, oh, cats in your car engine. But it was real. It happened. And luckily we were able to grab them in time before anything happened. And so we fostered 3 cats. We got them adopted out. We have a couple cats, and our cats claimed one of the kittens. So now we have one, and then we adopted out the other 2. Yeah.
that's awesome. So you grew up in San Francisco. Now you're in LA. Even though they're both two big cities, they're wildly different. How have
Yeah.
you handled the difference between being in San Francisco and coming to LA?
I mean, to be honest, I'm still figuring out how to be in LA. I've been here I've been here for 15 years, I think, at this point, and I still feel like I'm adjusting to it. Yeah, as you said, the cities are so different. San Francisco is very compact, and I didn't need a driver's license till I moved down here. I biked everywhere, and I know that people bike in LA. I'm not courageous enough. I find it very dangerous. It's a car town, so everybody's always in their car, and they kind of forget how dangerous cars actually are.
Mhm.
And I would prefer to not be a bicyclist in that atmosphere. But otherwise, it is both cities are really wonderful in different ways. LA is so huge that there is so much to offer. You have to do a little bit of digging, but there is something for everybody, and that's really wonderful. And San Francisco is just so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. I miss the hills and the fog for sure. Yeah.
Definitely. Being an actor, you're not always allowed to work as much. You can go through a lot of no's before you get that one yes that you really enjoy. How do you keep your mental health up? How do you deal with rejection and keep trying to move forward?
I'm sorry, I missed you up until trying to move forward. Can you repeat it?
Oh,
I have bad
how
reception
do
on
you
this
keep
end.
going? So you continue to try to go forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. It's something that I'm kind of uh that I've been thinking about a lot recently, given, we just came off of almost 8 months, 9 months of SAG and the writers being on strike. We started back up where we signed our negotiations in December. And then now the crew members are in negotiations to
Mhm.
re up their contract. So we're in a big squeeze. The industry is in a moment of contraction, which is scary. But I mean, what's been really wonderful is when with having the time the free time that I wouldn't otherwise, I've been able to focus on theater, which is really good for the soul, and also, it's a way for you to work on your art and find community and do the thing that you love and that you're trained in, that's not in as necessarily quite as much of a professional capacity. Also, side jobs
Mhm.
are, I think that's kind of the life of like a gig worker, like actors are. You have to be flexible, and you have to find something that you can do to support you while you're pursuing this career, and ideally something that's not soul sucking, because that makes it all, yeah, it's hard, but I think that's, yeah, I do that. I have a strong community of friends who are playwrights and authors and other actors, and it's really wonderful being able to get together with people that and create stuff yourself.
Mhm.
That's very affirming, because sometimes, if the mountain won't come to Muhammad, you got to go and do it yourself. And yeah, so, but it is really just, if this is what you want to do, you will find a way. You will find a way to do it.
Definitely. Well, thank you very much for your time, and I hope to get to talk to you
Yeah.
again about future projects.
Yeah, thank you. It was wonderful talking to you.